My name is Christian Basel. Years ago, I had an idea. I got myself a TARDIS. Took it to new places, met a lot of new people, took some great pictures, and talked Doctor Who. From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hanging With web show, this is the legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Join me on my latest adventures and become part of the legend. And hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. For those of you just joining us for the very first time, welcome to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basel. For those of you who have been through with us time and time again, welcome back. We're having a special episode today. We weren't taking it easy because we just got back. Some of us got back from our first convention, which we want to thank Central Florida Comic-Con. The first convention that we had brick and mortar down here in Central Florida just this past weekend. And no, actually, I think it was the weekend before that. I told you that we're still recovering from that. So I want to welcome you all to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. We have a wonderful team today. And this is something a little different because we want to get a chance for you to ask us questions about the team. I noticed you've seen the team come out over here. They've expressed their opinions. They've expressed their ideas. They've talked about Doctor Who and their geekdom. But now here is your chance to actually get to talk to the team and speak with them. Hey, I didn't do that. By the way, my name is Christian Basel, and I am the showrunner here at the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. And I want to welcome you all. Again, if you're watching us on the YouTube channel, please subscribe. Holy cow, we're going to bring her on in just a second there. Yeah, let me go ahead and bring everybody into focus in just a moment there. Just trying to get everything squared away. Hang tight. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Again, we're going to give everybody a chance who, if you've never had a chance to ask us questions, especially around the after parties, today you get to ask anything within reason. Any questions, what our favorite doctors are, how we got started, what kind of projects we're doing, our own individual podcasts. Here's your chance now in this episode to ask us anything within reason. The team of the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Let me go ahead and introduce everybody, starting with the gentleman to my far left. I got it right for the very first time. Hello, Dave from the rathole.ca. How you doing there, Dave?
Not bad. I got to show you that everybody. This is why you ended up on screen randomly. Because you talk with your hands even when you're not on screen.
Yeah, you know that, right?
which is hilarious. Watching on the back end of this, watching you talking, and that's
how I work, dude.
I know, but you're not even care. It's just hilarious to see. So I wanted everyone to see that. Also, why I jumped you into being on screen because it's fun. I have the control.
He's got the control. Melanie's got the control. They just love to torture me. Speaking of control and torturing me, all the way down to the very end, Miss Melanie Dean, a Pieces of Melee. Melanie, how you doing there? Welcome.
Hello. It helps if I unmute. Right?
Oh, there you go.
Right? I mean, I can technically. I'm doing good. Just got off of work, so new job and new commute. So it's 30 miles. So I literally ran screaming from my car in the house, getting to my computer. Luckily, my husband put this everything on, so I'm kind of still going. I made it. Are you
okay? Because I feel bad now. Did you make it okay? Was it a safe drive, or am I going to hear some reporting in Tampa later on today?
No. I'm driving from Pasco County into Pinellas County, so I'm just on US 19. For those of you that know the Tampa Bay area, my happy little butt just going all the way south to get home. But yeah.
So Melanie,
I had commute time, so hopefully everybody else has had good commutes if they are commuting or still working from home. You lucky dogs. So yeah, here we are.
No, Melanie hasn't been.
For, sir.
Melanie has not been in an accident, but she is the cause of a lot of them today. Speaking of which,
I follow every posted speed limit. It's speed limit, not a target. I follow them.
it's for me. It's just a suggestion.
friends.
Speaking of suggestions, because I just stink at segues.
In
Dr.
the
Freedom
words of
himself.
in the words of the Pirates of the Caribbean, I think of speed limits as guidelines.
Yeah, exactly there.
Okay. How's everybody doing out there tonight? Dr. Freedom here. How you all doing?
Not bad. You can check out Dr. Freedom on his YouTube channel. Just do a search for Dr. Freedom, and you can check it out anytime news drops on Doctor Who. He's got an opinion. He's got it. He's going to tell you about it. No questions asked. Well, maybe a few. And you do live chats. I actually did something on your YouTube channel while you weren't looking, just to see, like, wait a minute, this doesn't happen.
I started playing around with a new software. It's called Streamland OBS. It was free, and I was like, why not? I'll give it a shot. And it turned out it's pretty easy to use. I'm shocked.
All right.
So I had a lot of fun with it.
I gotcha there. And last but definitely not least here of the podcast, Husbands Talking More or Less, we've got Mr. Kevo Reese. And if you've ever checked out any of our thumbnails, this is the man. This is the creativity right here. This man. These awesome thumbnails. I'm gonna put it back up just because I want to show people the awesomeness.
That one's not my best, but I appreciate it.
No, I some of them with Kevo, I challenge him. I said, Kevo, first thing was make it look pretty. And then I just say, okay, well, here's what the episode's about. Here's what's going on. And then Kevo just slaps this together and said, boom, this is what your new thumbnail looks like. And he goes, how's it look? I'm like, you haven't sent me a dud. I mean, awesome. I mean, he not one dud in the bunch. And I'm very grateful. How you doing there, Kevo?
Good. If you wanted a good segue, you should have cut to me after Melanie, because the week after my last appearance, I was in a car accident. So, like,
oh, jeez.
Yeah.
That's right.
May was not a great month for me, but
not at all.
what are you gonna do? Yeah, no, we're fine. Our car is not, which stinks. The woman was not paying attention going through the red light and hit us literally on our back driver's side tire. So the frame is just shot. So. It's always something, right?
But people pay attention to what you're doing there. No texting and driving. I'm be safe
exactly.
out there.
You see so many people texting, doing their makeup, shaving sometimes. Like, that's just gross. Why would you do that while you're driving?
I think we're gonna really need those driverless cars just so that we can do our stuff.
Yeah.
As we're in the car, because we're gonna do it anyway. Might as well let the car do itself. Exactly. I'd rather trust.
But you know the question that I ponder though. In the future, let's say the car messes up.
Yeah,
who's the cop going to write the ticket to if the car was?
I know, right? That is well. I guess it would be the
car
in the car. Yeah, exactly. Going for Herbie bug. He's getting a.
You're
ticket.
Under arrest.
You're going to jail, and the car too. You're walking home.
I think a better future is where none of us are in the car going to work because we can all work from home. If we've learned nothing from the last year.
But
just most people don't need to do that.
But just imagine if you get pulled over by an older cop, he's going to be like, okay, kid, ease off the turbo boost.
Could you see like a Jackie Gleason from Smokey and the Bandit? The window comes down and there's nobody in the car. And he's going, I'm writing you a tip. He just stands there for like 10 minutes.
Like this here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just... All right, don't do it again. And I think, if I remember correctly, there was something on YouTube. I think they were doing a Tesla car, a test drive, and it was a driverless car, and it accidentally did hit a big rig. Luckily, it was a larger vehicle, but still, it was just that wasn't cool.
Even the robots.
I know it's frightening because for years, and a lot of people don't know this. The Air Force has had planes. They literally had this one plane that flew back and forth to Australia for like almost 6 months, completely pilotless. There was no actual human crew on board. And yet we can't ponder the mysteries of just plain regular driving. They can fly a big 767 cargo plane back and forth for 6 months and not crash it. But we can't send a car out without biffing into something. It's like, sheesh.
You know what? I figured this all out. I've totally figured this all out. This would absolve all insurances. It would absolve everything. And not only that, your commute to work would be something spectacular. You'd want to go to work and come home every day. And I'm thinking we should replace every single car with bumper cars.
No. I'm going with no.
No. That would put them out of business.
You're just having a bad day. You want to road rage, just going left and right, just like.
No.
Yeah,
I'd love to watch that, but I don't want to drive in it.
I don't want to drive in that. No, that's the biggest problem right now. Is people are using bumper. They're using their real cars as bumper cars as it is. No.
Gotcha.
Okay, how about this? Bumper, like the motor carts in Walmart for people who have like a broken leg or anything. Make those bumper cars.
No.
Okay.
I think that'd be way more entertaining than
Those need
than
No,
bumper
I
cars
think
on
we
the
should
road.
elevate it so that we're playing Mario Kart and that we can like throw weapons at one another and whoever's in the front
I'm
doesn't
also
get to
down
have
for
turtle
that.
shells. You know that?
You know what throws me off? Around here, there's a number of these guys who own these things. They got these little cars that are like only 3 wheels. And I'm like, the one guy, he paid like $30,000 for the thing. It don't even stand up to my waist, okay, when he's riding in it. I just looked at him, I go, man, go back to the dealer. And he's like, why? I said, he cheated you out of half a car and at least one wheel. Go back and demand it. There's a whole bunch of these running around here during the summer. And there's this one, it's like, it doesn't even have a top. So it's like, it's pretty much useless to you in the winter. It's like, sheesh.
Hello, Keisha. And again, if you want to chat with us, hello, Alicia. And I think we've had her before, Alicia Hoffstein.
Oh, yeah.
And Dan Hollifield. Yep, check him out over there at Stupid O'Clock. You can check it out on the YouTube channel. Joe Dog and everybody on Stupid O'Clock there. Hello, Graham. We are just taking it easy this week because next week we're going to be having the team from Time Fracture. We're going to be interviewing them next week. And I know Jessica and let me go ahead and bring this up before we go to commercial break. Doing UltraCon. Let me go ahead. This weekend is VillaCon, and our co-host Jessica Womack, unfortunately she can't make it, but we're going to be doing a special Who Knew News this Thursday at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be interviewing Louis, and I believe I haven't pronounced the last name right. I think Louis Lacal, I believe that's how you pronounce it. He'll correct me on that. Is the showrunner, and his wife will be talking about VillaCon. The tickets are only $5. This is the first time that this convention has taken place. It's going to be at the Wyndham Orlando Resort on International Drive. So if you're in the Central Florida area, go check them out. Tell them the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS has sent you. And more detailed, Jessica will be there with the Traveling TARDIS if you want to take a picture with it. And she will be having at least one panel on Doctor Who. And I think this is an interesting topic. I might steal this from Jessica. The question of that topic is the Doctor a hero or a villain? I thought that was a great debate there, but we will
Neither.
we'll be talking. Neither? Hey, no, we get the answers already. But if you want, please go into the chats wherever you are at Wizard World, over at the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Go ahead and just type it in on our YouTube channel, definitely. Any question you want to ask us about favorite doctors or such like that. Doing UltraCon in August. I'm not.
But that's UltraCon's, I believe, in West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
On like late August, like August 28th. So I believe if you go onto like ultraconofsouthflorida.com, that's UltraCon. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, no, I am not going to be at UltraCon.
I don't think anybody's going to be. And plus, to tell you the truth, this year,
let us know what it's like.
What's that?
Sorry, but let us know what it's like.
Yeah, tell us what it's like out there. This year, because of the pandemic that we had there, we're reestablishing contact to our old conventions that we've had, which included Central Florida Comic-Con, MegaCon, which will be taking place in August, and Tampa Bay Comic-Con, which will be at the start of August. No, the end of July. It's right there, the cursor. It's like right at the end of July. I think it's July 31st to the 1st or 2nd of August or something like that. We can look it up later there. But again, if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chats. We're just going to go ahead to a commercial break. We're just taking it easy today. And if you have any questions, specific questions for us, please, by all means, hit them in the chats and we'll try to hit them off one at a time. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and become part of the legend.
Alien invaders enslave Earth,
unleashing hunters into the ruined wastes.
One young survivor struggles to elude their monsters, clinging to hope.
When he's stolen off the planet by a sarcastic starship AI, they pit their uneasy alliance against a treacherous galaxy.
Explore a whole new verse of barbarism and betrayal.
Wonder and adventure.
In the Scion series
by Michael J. Allen.
Beginning with Book 1, Scion Conquered Earth.
Available in print, ebook, and audio on Amazon.com.
Experience Samara's adventure as she imagines the people around her change into friendly cartoon animals right before her eyes. Journey with her in this poetic tale, My Cartoon Imagination at School.
Now on Amazon.com, iCoin from author Jeremy Mosby. It's an alternate reality, and the leader of the planet iCoin is none other than Benjamin Franklin. When corrupt officials threaten not only iCoin but the Earth as well, an unlikely chosen one, Jeremy, must face dark foes to save the Earth and iCoin alike. Author Jeremy Mosby takes readers on a superhero's adventure through this compelling and imaginative alternate universe. Get iCoin on Amazon.com today.
Oh, brilliant! It's hard to believe that in the 56-year history of the greatest sci-fi television show in the English language, there has never been a fan guide to Doctor Who. The official books might give you what they think you need to know, but only a guide written by a true fan will give you what you really want to know. Join Whovian, the brilliant Mackenzie as she takes you on an intensive journey inside the world of the first female Doctor. In the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who, Season 11. Right, let's get a shift on.
And for those of you watching, you can actually join us with our friends over at Facebook.com, Rising Tide Broadcast Network. We are actually streaming live over there as well. So if you want to check us out, go over to the Facebook.com Rising Tide Broadcast Network page. We're streaming live there and should be doing that from now on, as well as you should be subscribing and hitting the notification bell at YouTube.com, The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. That is youtube.com, The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. You can do a search for The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out all of our content out there, and there's exclusive content just for folks who are on the YouTube channel. And without further ado, if you are watching us on the YouTube channel, on the Facebook page, or on the Twitch channel, don't thank us. Thank our friends over at GeekInsider.com. Don't forget to subscribe, GeekInsider.com.
At Geek Insider, we foster relationships with those in the geek sphere so we can give our audience the insider view of entertainment, tech, and more.
And welcome back to The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basel, and I was trying so hard to buy Melanie some time to get back from the break. And it looks like it's not going to happen, but if I hope she's doing okay out there. We're checking it out. And of course, your questions, you can ask us anything. We'll try to answer to the best of our abilities. And please, nothing too weird. We'll do our best there. So let me go ahead to the first question. We're going to go back. Brandon Halpin was asking us if we're going to do Ultracon in August. We're hoping to, let me just add to that question, the answer to that question. We are hoping maybe one day we will be visiting Ultracon, but again, we're just trying to reestablish connections to our friends who we were going to. Again, MegaCon will be there in the end of August, and the end of July is Tampa Bay Comic-Con, and there might be some other conventions coming up. I know we're trying to work out with SD Who, which is San Diego, and hopefully we'll be streaming live out there. Let's go ahead and start with Miss Katie Fox. Thank you for joining us. What are each of your favorite Doctors there? Kevo.
And I say this about any question I'm ever asked. I'm polyamorous, so I can never just pick one thing. So I have to at least pick two, which would be 10 and 12.
10 and 12. Okay. And what do you like?
10 was the Doctor I started with, and he was like the very action-adventure hero, which I really loved. And 12, I felt like was a perfect evolution of the potential of the 9th Doctor that we never really got to see fulfilled through only 13 episodes. And I really loved that, and I loved knowing what huge Whovians David Tennant and Peter Capaldi were, so how exciting it must have been for them to get to be the Doctor, and it really shows in their performances.
Yeah, exactly there. So got 10 and 12. Now, here's my question. I'm going to add on to this question. TARDIS lands, doors open. Which Doctor do you want to step out and pick you up to be a companion to?
13. And so now I have to give a third answer. But she's just so fun so far.
No,
and I like
fine.
that.
Okay. We'll just have some good time out there. Dave, the question's for you. What are each of your favorite Doctors? Well, I guess that's all of us, but...
Yeah, I suppose. I basically have to split it New Who, Old Who.
Okay.
So New Who would probably be... It's kind of a coin toss between Capaldi and Smith. And it's a toss-up because Capaldi was never really utilized the way he should have been.
Mm-hmm.
The writing was just not there, but his performances were amazing. And of course, Matt Smith was where I started in Doctor Who. Just to answer Graham's question that's coming up, I started back in. There's more to it than that, but with Matt Smith. So of course, you never forget your first Doctor.
Right.
Old Who, without a doubt, Sylvester McCoy.
Okay.
Yeah, he does everything. He's got the comedy, he's got the dark. You start moving him into the Big Finish stuff. There's even more there, but he's got such a range for that time frame. And you've got Ace in there to really played really well with him.
Mm-hmm.
And who doesn't love 4? Because again, we all started with 4 because. PBS. We all started with
PBS.
4.
Our classic Who's all started with 4. I know people who started with 2 and 3, which is really, really well. And for most of PBS started with 3. They actually started with John Pertwee. So, Dr. Freedom. Oh, wait. Sorry.
Oh,
sorry, Dave. No, my bad. TARDIS lands, doors open. Which Doctor you want?
7.
7. Oh, wow. Really? Sylvester?
Yep.
Have some fun out there. All righty. Sorry about that, Brian. Yep.
Everybody always asks me this question, and I'm like, you might as well ask me what my favorite band is. Or what my favorite song is. And I keep saying the same thing. Well, basically to sum it up the best ways in the words of the Brigadier, wonderful chap, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they each have qualities I like. They each have qualities that drew me to them. Even all the way back into the black and white era. So it's just I usually just say, look, it's like I can't really narrow it down. My first Doctor was Tom Baker, of course, PBS, right. But there are wonderful things about Davis and who succeed him. There's wonderful things I love about Pertwee. It's just I don't really know how to answer the question because I've loved all of them.
Okay, so you're one of those that go like, "Oh, they're all the same person." I'm like, no. There's some different characteristics. There's some different, there's some different personalities. Yes, they're all the same alien, but okay,
different aspects of the same person in a way.
Right. Alrighty. TARDIS lands and the doors open. Which Doctor do you want to be running in with?
Just for the sake of argument, I'd say 13 because I want to get to know her a bit better.
Okay, that's fair enough. All right. And as Kevo said, she's kind of fun out there. Speaking of kind of fun, Melanie, welcome back.
Oh, son of a...
I hope everything
Can you hear me better now?
Oh, we hear you loud and clear. It's wonderful.
Better, yeah.
Just in time for the very first question there.
Oh, good. Yay!
Who is your favorite Doctor? And I do have a follow-up question.
Who's my favorite Doctor? Well... Funny enough, I'm going to go with Tom Baker. Because that's the bad thing is I'm always going to have like my first Doctor and then, it's one of those, I want to pick one of each. So classic Who is going to be Tom Baker because he's going to be like my favorite, always going to have a soft spot for, for me in my heart. But when it comes to New Who, it's, I love the 10th Doctor. Ta-da! There it is. But I think I'm gonna have to say if I only hit gun to head, kind of have to choose one, it would probably be Tom Baker. Like if you put me in a convention, if I'm at a Wizard World and there is a booth where there's Tom Baker sitting right there and there's David Tennant sitting right there, and I can get my autograph and my photo with one of those Doctors, it's Tom Baker. That's my be all end all.
Same question applies. The TARDIS lands, doors open. Which Doctor do you want to go on an adventure with? Would that still be Tom? Yeah.
Crap. You know what? It would still be Tom And I'd hope that Sarah Jane and Harry are in there.
Yeah,
I got to
That's
confess.
because I'm running in there to hang out with Harry Sullivan and tell him that he is not an imbecile.
I got to confess,
Although if I wouldn't be upset for him either. So again,
I mean, I would assume we wouldn't care which doctor picked us up. So I mean, like,
that's true.
Just that the doctor picked us up at all, and became a companion. But I got to agree with you. I'm going to tag along with the fourth Doctor. I grew up Tom Baker, creature PBS. I mean, I think I've said it enough on here that people understand why. I think for me, it was the character I related to. I mean, there have been so much content as far as a kid growing up, the Transformers, G.I. Joe, you name it out there. But here was this one character on PBS that I could actually relate to, have some fun with, enjoy. I love the wit. I love that he didn't have to pick up a gun to defeat his enemies. Those were the kind of fun things. So here's the funny part. TARDIS lands, doors open. I want to run away with Capaldi. I don't.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
That'd be fun.
I'm not talking about, early Capaldi, not first year. I want rock and roll Capaldi, where he's just letting it look. Yeah, there you go. Just letting it loose, having a great time. Nothing bothering him up there. The next question out here is for our senior team. Unless Melanie or Kevo, you're aware of this. Thoughts on the BBV films, the BBV production films, which is, if I'm not mistaken, I had to look it up again. I'm sorry, the the Bill and Ben videos, which were the videos that hired Doctor Who actors like The Stranger or the Arizona Solution, those series. What do you guys think?
My thoughts are I'm not familiar with them, so I'm out.
No, that's fine. I'm talking about our senior team up here. Dave,
I don't know. It still kind of freaks me out that I think it was in the Arizona Solution, they had Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant as a couple.
Yeah,
that freaked me out.
And they do make out. I was just like, oh, how to watch them get my hopes destroyed up there, just like. So I kind of like that they were getting work. I think that was the best part about that is, but I kind of liked it. It took some chances. They were very bizarre videos. I think one of my favorites is Probe. Which was Caroline John expanding on her character, but I thought it was kind of funny. She picked up a pipe, and I was like, that's okay. That's Liz Shaw now, okay. But I did like to see that the other doctors were working, but I don't know. I think it looks like they had some really great starts, but never did finish off what they started there.
That was the real reason she left. The doctor wouldn't let her smoke in the lab. You see.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dan. I know, right? I'm just like, when did you start pulling out the bowl and just going at it? I'm just like, okay, fine. I guess this is Liz Shaw now. Dan Hollifield, Last Man Standing, the new title of the Stupid O'Clock Show, hosted by me on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, all right, well, check it out, everybody. Check it out with Dan and Joe Dog and all the team, Skunk Rocker. Please do tell us about the convention you just attended. Central Florida Comic Con is the only one that we had. It was packed. I think it was probably the highest amount of people I've seen for that convention. Were people playing it safe? Yes. It was kind of weird because, it was kind of hard to do the panels with the mask on. I meant Neisha and Jessica tried their best, but I got to a point where I was asking the audience, listen, would you mind if I remove my mask? I will step all the way back in the back of the room. But it was really hard because I had to keep repeating myself to people. But for the most part, the people going, yeah, because they started, they were trying to relax and stuff. So I did remove my mask, but I was in all the way feet, miles away so that I kept my distance, but they could hear me project. And then every time I get a chance, I put the mask back on. So, but I want to be able, it was just exciting. I mean, just to see people out and about again, geeking out. And I guess you couldn't keep people away because they needed an outlet. Here was their first chance. They had the Power Ranger team out there. They had who does the voice of Space Ghost? George
Lowe.
George Lowe, thank you. He was out there. Ming Chen was out there. So it was just to see something moving in the convention world. That was so nice. So unfortunately, Dan, that's the only convention I think we did. Did anybody do conventions on their own before the go for
Sci-Fi Barco.
Sci-Fi Barco. Yeah, that's right. How was that?
That one was great. I mean, it was outdoors. It was honestly the first convention I had done coming back. So yeah, in middle of Bartow, Florida. It's an outdoor show, so it's very Main Street art festival-y kind of vibe or aesthetic when you're outside. But because you see all the tents, you see the rows, up and down, like a little 2-lane Main Street with all this, and then all the offshoots. But it's definitely a con because you're looking at everybody's booths. You're seeing the cosplay. You're seeing stages. There's panels. There's all that kind of fun stuff. So it's a nice outdoorsy kind of it's just different. But yeah, it was that one was an absolutely amazingly great show. Yeah. So little by little.
Well, we're on a hard break, but I just want to say hello to Yet It Is. And got some new friends here. I haven't seen these folks before. Dope Bunny and Clive just subscribed to your channel. Thank you so much, and I wouldn't miss a show. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and don't ask away any question. I see a lot of questions that are still popping up. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and become part of the legend.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
This is Cosplay Michael with the Hanging Out Club Show. I want to tell you about my friends at Embellis Effects in Orlando, Florida. They've got makeup, costumes, and props for all of your costume needs. And the team at Embellis Effects is helpful and friendly. Embellis Effects is one of my favorite places, and I know it will be yours too. I'll see you there. Or go to embelliseffects.com. And remember, cosplay is for everyone.
Meet the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
But not the one you were expecting.
All right, sexy. It's time to go home.
Doctor Who Velocity. Streaming now.
What do you mean you haven't subscribed to Doctor Who Worlds Apart? Come on, you can sign up on a daily basis and check out and get Pandex every single day that you sign up. So you can get your free cards out there, for your free playing cards out there, but check it out at DoctorWho-WorldsApart.com. That's DoctorWho-WorldsApart.com. We're waiting. We want to play. We're ready. We got our cards. And Neisha's legendaries are going to be happy because I'm going to figure out I'm going to figure that out. I might get more cards. I'm thinking about it. I don't know. But yeah, check our friends out over at DoctorWho-WorldApart.com. And again, sign in every day. Don't forget to log in because you can get your free Pandex and accumulate those
to buy cards.
And you buy cards. You don't have to spend anything. You can get cards for free. Welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basel. I'm here with Melanie, Dave, Brian, and Kevo Reese from podcast Husbands Talking More or Less there. And we're getting to your questions now. And the next question we come up is actually to Dave from Grand Krause. Dave, as a fellow Canadian, how did you get into Doctor Who?
Like I was saying before, we got PBS here out of Spokane. So again, like most people of a certain generation, my first Doctor was going to be on PBS. It was Tom Baker. Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, I almost don't remember it. I remember seeing it, but all of those memories are completely intertwined and like messed up with the Tomorrow People.
Okay.
Ever seen the because those were back to back at the time, and the production value is the same. The sci-fi-ness of it is so there's a lot of like images in my head, and I don't know which one is which.
I tried to stomach the episode with Peter Davison. That still gives me nightmares down there. Now I got a stupid question, Graham. I don't know how your system works. Where did you see it? I mean, we have PBS down here. You have PBS up there, right? You have a public broadcasting system in Canada, right?
Sort of.
How does that work?
We will usually, most people will still get a US PBS.
Mm-hmm.
We do have the CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, which is a more commercial version. It's still a national broadcaster. But it's not quite structured the same. We don't have to have the pledge drives or anything like that. It's closer to an NPR where it's that we get PBS. We get the same US PBS in most places.
Okay. Let's say hey to Faith Kelly, who just walked into the room there.
Yeah.
And so said Matt Smith sucked me in too. So this is going to be for everybody, and we're going to do something a little different so we can get to the questions. We're going to go counterclockwise, starting with Melanie on this question. How do you feel about Torchwood?
Okay, so Torchwood. Here's the thing. I have not watched all of Torchwood. And the good thing is I haven't watched all of Torchwood because when I got into it, I was told by friends that there's some stuff that as a fan, you just say, I know it's canon, but we're just going to ignore that. Okay. So I believe you know which episode arc. I believe you guys know what I'm talking about when it comes to children.
The whole thing was not children friendly. So.
Not children friendly, but anyway, yeah, there's certain parts I just kind of skipped, and I've heard just keep skipping. So
second
episode,
it's
good. I like it. I like Torchwood. I think it's brilliant, especially with the Big Finish audiobooks. I think for when it comes to any type of just when we're talking about TV in general, a lot of times any type of spinoff doesn't do so great. And I think when it comes to Doctor Who and all the different spinoffs, Torchwood definitely is one that stands above the rest when you have that whole, okay, we had a spinoff and it's amazing. It stands on its own. It's really, really well written. And it's got its own thing where, yes, it's in the universe of Doctor Who, but you don't have to really know Doctor Who too much, really at all, to watch and follow Torchwood. So that's my feelings on Torchwood.
That was kind of the nifty thing. And I think this is just my opinion. When the first series came out, you could have stepped in anywhere and picked it up, and it was like a gunshot. As soon as you got in there, you were off and running, and it didn't matter where the episodes were. You were hooked. When it got to Miracle Day, that was one you had to go back to the beginning, or else. Sorry, right? But yeah, you couldn't go into the middle of Miracle Day and keep going, even with the story arcs, even with everything. I meant you had to go back to the beginning, or else if you got into the middle of Miracle Day, which I thought was a bad thing. You were lost. You were completely gone. And there's some real downfalls on Miracle Day because it wasn't. I remember RTD was saying that it had to coincide with the Doctor WHO WHOniverse, and Miracle Day could not be part of that because the Doctor would have known this was happening and probably would have done something. He wouldn't have ignored it there. But Kevo, same question from Dope Bunny and Clive. How do you feel about Torchwood?
Well, Torchwood was actually what got me into Doctor Who in the first place.
That's right.
I seeing a clip from Captain Jack Harkness, and I was like, John Barrowman, gay guys kissing, what's going on? So I watched all of Torchwood, and I loved it. And then I loved Doctor Who way more. It's not bad. It tried way too hard to be edgy way too many times in way too many different ways. Series 1 and 2 are trying to be like hardcore and sexual, and then series 3 and 4 are trying to be dark and grim. And, you know, as you say, Miracle Day especially is the sort of traumatic Earth-based event that I really, really doubt the Doctor would not have caught wind of, investigated, and it's never been mentioned in main canon, and for good reason. I never finished series 4 of Torchwood, and when I finally read a summary of what the plot was, I was super glad. Bizarre. I don't know what anyone on that production was thinking. And I would love to see Torchwood come back, even with all the same characters, not a remake, but a return and a reboot. But I would need it to be in a very different direction, because there are good things about the concept, but it's repeatedly horribly executed, in my opinion.
I think they should have kept. I can't remember. I spoke to her. I'm seeing her at a convention. Arlene Tur, the actress. She played the Doctor. I can't remember her name, but they developed her so well, and then they killed her off in that, that frying incident. I'm just like, why would you do that? She was such a great character. But I think better than, nothing against the other characters, but better, well developed. That she needed to stay on at least a season or two, even, if Miracle Day happened to run, she was just so well written, well executed. They gave her such a great backstory, and then boom, they fried her in an oven. Sorry, spoilers.
And she wound up well done.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of well done, Brian, what do you think of Torchwood?
Okay, it was an interesting time because you had Sarah Jane Adventures that was aimed towards children. Torchwood was aiming way more towards the adult audience. I thoroughly enjoyed the first 2 seasons. Children of Earth was absolutely brilliant. Matter of fact, if you want to see Peter Capaldi in another amazing performance, watch him in Children of Earth. The character of John Frobisher was such a tortured character and all that, and the things he went through. And Capaldi was brilliant. Everybody was brilliant. It was just an incredible storyline. And I'm going to leave you off with this, and I'm going to save you several hours of your life. Don't watch Miracle Day.
It's so long, too. There's too many episodes.
It was like they took a 5-part script and tried to stick it into a 10-part series. It would literally start with the beginning of the episodes being somewhat interesting, and then by the end, you're wishing, "Oh, is this going to end?"
But it was Americanized. It became so cluster because they had it almost like they had to throw in a sci-fi geek actor. They had John Delancey showed up. They had Ernie Hudson showed up. Nana Visitor showed up. They had all these, these little oh, look, we have somebody from Star Trek. We have this person from Ghostbusters. And I'm just like, so, and like the Ernie Hudson character, he was just in there for maybe 2 episodes and no expansion on it. I didn't want to come in to criticize this, but it's hard to get away from Miracle Day. And I'm going to actually counter you, Brian. I'm not going to say don't watch Miracle Day. No. Watch it with your expectations down.
See, I've never watched it, and I think I'm happier for it because that's all I hear is what you guys did, the criticism, and everybody I've ever said. It's going to just leave a bad taste in your mouth. And I'm like, you know what? I'm good.
It had such good potential. I was really, if we're going to go there, I was really angry at Captain Jack with Angel's story. I was like, how could you do that to why am I losing my mind here? Sorry.
Because of Miracle Day.
Miracle Day.
See? More reasons. So yes, great thing Torchwood is. Dope Bunny and Clyde.
Go.
If you're just gonna get into it, do what I did and listen to these people. Just say Miracle Day.
Oh well, Dave, what do you think of Torchwood?
You're gonna throw me off the stream.
No, I'm not.
I've never watched it.
That's fine. We got to get you. Got to get you involved.
I don't have the controls anymore. I can't kick them out.
No. It's just some luck of the timing of when it was on compared to when I was watching and my access to being able to watch it, and I've just never gone back to do it. I will do it eventually. I'm sure eventually we'll have a wonderful guest from Torchwood that'll be on the show, and I'm going, okay, great. Now I got to binge this just so I can bone up on this guest. Mm-hmm. I just haven't had the chance.
It was a nice take on RTD trying to do something with Doctor Who but make it darker and try to keep it out of the Whoniverse, to write those stories that he wanted to put into Doctor Who but just were way too. I mean, should I spoil it for you?
Go for it. Go on. Don't watch Miracle Day. I already know that.
Yeah, the second episode where the alien gets their energy from. I mean, that's
the sex alien.
Oh,
the sex alien. Yeah, that's
there's kids probably watching. We don't want to go into that. No.
I was just that's why I said where they got their energy from. What's that?
TNG did it first in the 80s, and I just want to point that out. The second episode of Next Generation was definitely also a similar alien threat.
Oh, was that early? Because I remember the alien, but I don't remember how early the episode was.
It might be like 5, but it's very early in season 1, surprisingly. So I almost I feel like that's what Russell T Davies was even trying to like evoke, but he was able to go so much further with it because BBC Three.
Alrighty. Well,
But
we want to welcome.
a lot of brilliant episodes. They're like one of my favorite ones. I love to bring up is Countryside.
Yeah.
Yep. You're set up to think it's this one thing, and it turns out to be something else, completely unexpected. That's what I loved about it.
I will say this: meat almost made me a vegetarian.
Oh yeah, meat.
I was just like, after meat, I just like, oh my god, I'm eating my vegetables now.
And that was a really good Reese episode. That's what I loved about it.
That was a good Reese episode. That was a great character development. He finally got his time to shine, and it was like, wow, okay, yeah, he can act. He can come in there.
Watch Torchwood, everybody. I highly recommend it. You're going to fall in love with this lovely actress named Eve Miles, and the character she portrays, Gwen Cooper, is brilliant.
Yeah.
Gwen is amazing.
Well, we're just going to go on the final break. When we return, we're going to finish up all your questions. And when we return, please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and become part of the legend.
Author Cindy Kep is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Kep at CKOEPP.com today.
You have more options than ever before when choosing a film, a television or internet series, a book to curl up with, or even a radio show or podcast. Get to know the people who are creating for you. The Hangin' With Web Show, hosted by award-winning author and journalist G.W. Pomacher, is the internet's fastest-growing web talk show series. The Hangin' With Web Show features professional, yet casual, in-depth interviews with creative arts and entertainment pros. Meet the people behind a digital revolution in creating more quality content than ever before in the history of media. Find the Hangin' With Web Show on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, or simply go to www.hanginwithshow.com. That's www.hanginwithshow.com.
The massive audio Doctor Who Bad Wolf Bluetooth TARDIS speaker. That's all I gotta say, one word. Wow. It looks like it just jumped right off the screen. Here it is in all its Bad Wolf glory. Right here is the on-off switch and the up and down volume. Right here's the speaker. The TARDIS stands about 6 inches from the bottom of the TARDIS all the way up to the top where the light is. Look at the detail. Wow.
And they sell that over at Amazon.com/FameTek at FameTek, and they have more stuff like. Kevo,
why did you show me that? Now I need it. Now I need to go buy that. Why did you do that?
Trying to find Dave. Sit back down.
Somebody's got to pay for this show, and we got our friends over at Amazon.com/FameTek. Not only that, but they've got the. I don't have them with me right now because I think Jessica has them. The Doctor Who Weeping Angels charger. The cordless charger, you can put it on there, it lights up and everything. And the FameTek speaker, yeah, check it out. It's Bluetooth. I actually brought it over to Central Florida Comic-Con so people could look at it and play with it there. So check them out. Amazon.com/FameTek, spelled FameTek for our friends over on the audio. Welcome back. We're wrapping up our discussion and getting to your questions. Ask us anything. Let's see here. Let me get to the next question. Yes, it is. Question: do you all remember when you were first introduced to Doctor Who? Which we kind of, I think we kind of went over that a little bit. So I think myself and Dave said we were introduced PBS Tom Baker. Did you three answer that question as well, or did I miss out on that?
I got a quick story about that I can run through.
Yeah, go ahead.
What happened was when I was growing up, I grew up with Battlestar Galactica, Space 1999, and of course Star Trek. Those were my first loves. And every Saturday night they'd have Star Trek on. Well, unfortunately for me, that weekend there was a baseball game on, so no Star Trek. So back when those days where you could actually get a little TV guide with your newspaper that was only this big, because you only had that many channels. I'm sitting there going, oh, great, what am I going to watch? I don't want to watch baseball. I'm not in that. So I'm flipping through, and suddenly I go, okay, WVIZ, TV channel 25 in Cleveland, 7 o'clock, Doctor Who, sci-fi fantasy, the Sontaran Experiment. And that's how it started, because I flipped over to watch that. And sure enough, leave it to me to start right in the middle of a string of episodes where there was no TARDIS. So when the TARDIS did finally appear, I'm like, okay, why are they going into there? Okay, well, what's this funny white room with the thing in it? It's bobbing up and all that. And then finally, after episode 2, oh, okay, that's in there. Oh, okay, that's where I started out. Literally, was by just sheer coincidence. Was I just happened to pick up the TV guide one night.
Got it there. And Melanie and Kevo, where did you first see Doctor Who? When were you first introduced?
Okay. So me was, I was just earliest memories I ever remember watching with my dad, because he was watching it on PBS. So earliest memories when I was a wee Mel, it was just always one of those things that was on TV that he would be watching. But to be reintroduced to it, that was actually during the 11th Doctor's run, and that was, I was having an Indian restaurant that I love to go to. Now the huge friend of mine, Simi, she was a waitress there. Got into a conversation with her because I didn't understand what all the little marks on her arms were, because her and her friend, another waitress, were doing the thing about the silence on their arm, like it was Silence Day. Or so it was, I can't remember everything about it, but that's what it was. And I'm like, what the heck is that? She's like, it's Doctor Who. I'm like, wait, what? So she got me into it, and that's how I got, I went and I watched Vincent and the Doctor first, because I wanted to see that Doctor. And she even told me, being art background, watch that one first. Didn't warn me that I was going to be snot, ugly crying the entire time at the end. But then I stopped, went back, started with 9, and there we go.
Gotcha there. And Mr. Kevo Reese, where did you start your journey? With Torchwood, right?
Well, I mentioned that, but it actually, I didn't immediately discover Doctor Who through Torchwood. I started watching Torchwood in January, and there was this really obnoxious boy in my English class who was obsessed with me, so I eventually married him. And he says to me, oh, he'll love that, don't worry. He says to me, there's a better show that it's based on originally, right? And I'm like, yeah, okay. And so I finally watched the first episode of Series 1, Rose, and then I proceeded to watch all of Series 1 and 2 in the matter of 8 days, including the first 3 episodes of Series 3 to get caught up for that. So between the second episode of Series 3 and the third, I watched every New Who episode that existed and fell in love with it. I watched the first episode through Father's Day in one night. I was like, oh my God, he's right. And so obviously that's why I had to marry him eventually.
So which one is better, Doctor Who or Torchwood?
Doctor Who, no question.
Coming from your perspective. Got it there. I want to just give a shout out to Cameron, Christopher Payne. What's up, gents? And Lady. We have Melanie.
Okay, I'll take it. Gent works. Hi. I'll take hellos.
Speaking of
Gentle
Melanie. Gentle lady.
Right.
Melanie, you got a question from
Carl.
Carl. Question from Melanie. Which Doctor was the hardest for you to paint?
Oh, son of a...
Let's see those pictures.
Not for... Hardest, because most of the ones that are very hard is because, so Jodie, it's a tie between Jodie and my Capaldi. Because they were both on a tight timeline. I also did have another, actually, now I got to add Tennant in there too, because the Tennant Rose painting I have, that was another timeline. So the hardest ones tend to be I could take my time, have more finesse, I could work on them, that's fine. But this was for a contest that needed to be done in the middle of the night. Another was a commission that they wanted for the next day. And Capaldi's will win because I painted it while he was there. Because it was at, I believe, Tampa Bay, MegaCon Tampa Bay, and he was there. I didn't have anything, but it was such a dead convention. It was absolutely the slowest convention. Everybody around me was just painting. The first shot of the Joker came out, the movie Joker. We saw Frankie G across from me. He starts just painting him. I'm like, you know what? Why not? I got my stuff. So I start painting Capaldi. And then it got to a point of, can I finish this before the con's ended? Can I finish this so I can get him to sign it? So yeah, he signed that with me telling him, don't touch your face. It's still wet.
I love the way you
he
work.
was like, wait, what? So he went to art school. So I even also told him to critique it. And I was like, okay, by the way, this is a speed painting. I'm over there in that booth. And we just talked art for a while. But yeah.
Oh.
So I painted the shirt first, so I knew it would be drying. So that was the hardest. It was because my deadline was, if I don't get this thing done, I can't get him to finish it. So timelines, deadlines will be the death of me.
I noticed that Capaldi is conveniently missing because I saw the 11th Doctor came in, just wanted to pop in and say hi. So I was waiting for Peter.
I
was waiting for Bell to go
the printer, so he cannot stay there the whole time for a show. And since I had run right in, he's still on the wall where he's nice and safe.
We're coming to the end of our show, so we got a few more questions left. We got Gina Lee. This one's for Dave. Dave, where do you get your shirts from?
Yes, Dave. Where do you get your shirts from?
Almost always I'm wearing a Quidditch jersey. So this is actually the World Cup national jersey for Team New Zealand today.
Okay, cool.
So it's always got my name and number on the back. And
do you get it from directly there? Did you get it directly from their fan shop, or is there specific?
Basically, yeah. They put them up. This was the last World Cup 3 or 4 years ago. Thank you, COVID. Yeah. And interestingly enough, the printers actually messed this one up. It's mirrored colors. It was actually supposed to be a black jersey with watermarking, but
whoops! Hello, dye sublimation.
Yep.
Nice.
This is
That is really cool.
Maori artist that actually did these designs.
That's what I say. I want to see the back. That's he just kind of does this around.
He's dancing.
I like the Maori patterns. That's really freaking cool.
Yeah. We got one question left. We got time for one more question before we have to end the audio version of the show, and this is going to be for Dope Bunny and Clive. And I'll round robin it. If you could have a doctor as a guest, what would be your first question? So
the doctor themselves or the actor of the doctor?
That's a good question. Dope Bunny and Clive, if you want to clarify that question. But
I say doctor as a guest.
Have a doctor as a guest. What would be your first question? Well, we've had two of them on. We've had Sylvester and we've had Paul. But
I'm talking to the doctor. If you're talking to the doctor, the character.
Got it.
Yeah.
Brian, what would be your question to the doctor? Let's go back to that little fantasy we had. The TARDIS door is open. The doctor walks out. What would be your first question to the doctor?
Before or after I soil myself? Let me see.
There's a bathroom in the TARDIS there.
I don't know. That's an interesting question. It's like, what would you ask the doctor if you were your first one? It's like, maybe I'd go kind of macho and say, "Is that thing turbocharged? Or is it got a Hemi?"
All the questions. You picked that one.
I don't know. I'd be so shocked. I don't know if I could even speak at that point, to be honest with you.
He pull a Capaldi waking up and go, shush, close the door. Dave, you meet the doctor, the TARDIS door is open, and your favorite doctor walks out. What is your question?
I'm gonna tweak it and actually go with 9 because I just ask him why he sounds like he's from the north. Because I love just to set up the one-liner. Hey, I love a good one-liner, and that's one of the most memorable lines of his era. I still think is
that smile. That smile. Yeah, he's like, "Oh, it's going north."
Yeah. Now he's reminding me of that Capaldi meme. Lots of planets have a Scotland.
Lots of planets have a north.
Kevo, the door's open. 13 walks out. Your question to her is.
Everyone else is making jokes, but I was gonna go deep. I'm like.
Go deep.
Now that you are somewhat aware that you are essentially, and have been aware for some time that you are essentially immortal, like whether it was the Timeless Child reveal or just the fact that the Doctor continually keeps coming back for more, just what keeps driving you? You could be doing this for literally forever. Do you think you will ever get tired and become the curator? And if you become the curator, will you become something after that? Like, just what's your plan? I don't know.
There is nothing after the curator.
That
We
is
established that. Melanie established that. That is
Melanie established that.
The curator is
Melanie
the
made
last
it canon. Okay,
I made it. My personal headcanon is the curators of the Omega. It's done.
Yeah.
That's.
I get that.
Wherever we can keep adding more doctors, and that's
4.
No, to go with the 21st century, I'd be like, do you know your car insurance is expired?
Jeez. Melanie, bring it home.
Okay, so since most of our concepts of pop time travel are based in pop culture references and movies we've watched and all those other kind of things, I want the Doctor to explain to me time travel, especially since right now I am binging Loki. I am all in on what Marvel's trying to do with this next 10 years. Explain time travel for me, because that's how the science part isn't getting there. How does time travel work? I want the Doctor to explain it now, since I keep getting all these other types of variants.
He's just going to laugh at you.
I don't care. At least now, and I want to know now because tomorrow's the next episode of Loki. So
I know.
Emily, Carl, if the Doctor shows up, I'd want to know why, since she only shows up when everything is going to grab. That's true.
I would politely
the other
ask
way.
them to leave.
Yep.
I guess my question is the simplest of them all. I go, where are we going? That would be it. Let's go. That's just it for me. I mean, I wouldn't know if I would be joking or get too deep. I would just say, hey, throw the randomizer on. Let's do this. Where are we going next? That would be my question there. Speaking of questions, for our friends over on the audio, please join us if you haven't subscribed over there, where you can check us out on iHeartRadio, sci-fi.radio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, CBSradio.com. You can also check us out on Spreaker and Player FM. You can listen to us, download any episode that you like, listen to us, and all this is brought to you by our friends over at the Hanging with Web TV show. Any final thoughts before we end the audio portion of our show today, folks?
I would say that if you have any questions, if you're watching this not live, feel free to add a comment below, and we could always come back and answer it either there in the chat or when we'll have another episode. So
that's right. If you are on our YouTube channel right now, where's the thing? Oh, yeah, there we go. Subscribe and hit the notification button. Like, comment. I'll be watching out. So if you comment, I will respond to you. Yes, I will respond to you. So comment on anything that you see out there. Yeah,
he needs more friends.
I need more friends. I do need a lot more friends.
He's conversation starved. So you write a question or anything, he'll answer it or comment on it.
Write a whole article on it.
Well, folks, for those of you joining us in the after party, please stick around. If you haven't had a chance to ask your question, go ahead and ask now. Otherwise, we're going to more questions. Thank you, folks. Please stay safe out there. Don't forget VillaCon this weekend, $5 per ticket. It's going to be Saturday the 26th at 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. VillaCon, Unleash Your Darker Side. Jessica will be out there with the Traveling TARDIS and the $5. That's it. And you get to see Jessica and the Traveling TARDIS team with the Traveling TARDIS in the panel. Otherwise, have a great day, folks. Stay safe. Next week, Time Fracture.
Yes.
Now, people are asking, who are probably not familiar, what the heck did I just mean by Time Fracture?
Well, since we're a Doctor Who podcast, they've probably heard of Time Fracture, since there's been a lot of stuff on the social medias. Also, the reviews coming back from it as well. So,
Oh, this looks really interactive. This looks cool.
It's very interactive. It's extremely interactive, and may perhaps some research for you before we interview, sir.
Yeah, we'll definitely. Yeah.
He's just gonna here we go.
Okay, after party question. Oh, okay, Carl. After party question: which Doctor was the best Doctor to companions in your opinion?
That's a
God. We only have a half an hour on the after party.
Well,
he's terrible to all of them. So which one is he the least bad to?
5 just. 5 lost Adric. 6 strangled Perry.
Well, 5, was Adric, Nissa, and Tegan. So I have to give him, an A+ for having a lot of patience.
God.
And especially with Tegan, constantly yelling about something, Adric crying about that. And then, of course, you got Nissa, the rational one, who's probably as smart as you are. And then you got to put up with this whole lot.
Oh, my God. Oh.
That and the poor guy couldn't stand celery, and they made him wear one.
maybe 1? So
I would actually say 12 in if I had to think about it.
Okay,
they didn't end up in good places, but he was the best to those companions. I feel like he kind of just effed up a lot of people's lives on purpose in the revival, like without caring. But like, it's not his fault that Clara became super depressed after her boyfriend died and became really reckless. It really wasn't his fault what happened to Bill, and he did everything that he could to try and save her after that. So I really think 12 was the best to his companions. It just doesn't always work out that well.
Plus putting
Nine was never straight up a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
all right, now I'll have to say 13 because she's been good to everyone except like Yaz getting really angry at her. But I was like, she was in prison. Calm your emotions down, please, ma'am.
She was gone longer than you even think, so like relax.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, 13 or 12.
I kind of want to see 13.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that. Yeah.
We need to see 13 with more companions first. Yes, part of it.
That's true. That's very true.
See, when I look at this question, and Carl, you can clarify if you want, which Doctor was best to the companions in your opinion? I got to give it to 11 because Amy and Rory, especially Rory started out with this nurse who, lived a mundane life and didn't understand and had this, at this time, a fiance who was just bumbling around and, he was just kind of hanging on there. But if you looked at the progression of Rory, and I think this is what the Doctor is to the companions, he brings out the best in the companions. I almost wanted to say 4 and Sarah Jane. Because if you saw Sarah Jane from the very beginning, she started out with 3, and she came in, she was a reporter, she was a feminist, and she didn't trust the Doctor. But that was just, those are her characterizations. But when she got to know the Doctor and see the first regeneration from 3 to 4, when she finally got to 4, they were buddies. Whatever angst her from the beginning and not trusting the Doctor, she started accepting the world that she was in. Not only that, but I meant that character went on to get her own series, come back in Skull Reunion, and she got more fleshed out than any person, even Bernice Summerfield, than any character that I think out there, and that was all to the Doctor. She even got her own K9 unit, go figure. But Rory was a great character arc. He became the nurse that just kind of stayed in the corner and did what he was told, to the Centurion that was standing in the middle of the Cybermen ship. And God, the most beautiful scene I've ever seen is what was his message? And the explosions taking place behind him, and he says the perfect line, "Do you want me to repeat the question?" And I'm like, and he's just on a cyber ship. Do you really think Rory from the very beginning would have been standing in the cyber? They could have killed him. They could have shot him right there. But he used the reputation of the Doctor as a weapon, dressed in a Centurion outfit, to take down the Cybermen to find his wife.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is a character arc, and that is the best of the Doctor Who, when the companions improve to become who they're better they are. That, I think, is awesome.
Both.
Or
both
4 with Leela.
and Carl are saying Troughton.
Yeah.
Oh, they are? I'm sorry.
Yep.
Let's bring them up there. I would have said 4th and the current Doctor. Yeah, 13. 13's making it a family situation. And she's really developing something. If anybody wants to correct me on this, she's kind of not accepting the loneliness. It's if somebody wants to correct me on this, I'm trying to find the right words. Kevo, I think you could probably do it better than I could. The Doctor's always been lonely, but this is the first time ever where she's reaching out and go, no, don't leave. Almost verbally. It's like, I can't be alone. I know I can't be alone. I need you guys.
Very emotionally available.
Yeah.
Whereas previously, I feel like a lot of the Russell T. Davies era, the Doctor similarly didn't want the companions to go, but he was so broody about it and was like, no, it's fine. You can go. No, it's fine. I don't care. I don't care. Whereas 13 is very much more open with her companions about wanting them to be there and the things that they bring into her life.
I'm not laughing at me. I'm laughing at the question that Dan Hollyfield is Rory still in on.
Yes.
Oh, that brings up some interesting things. Doesn't it? Like a weird mannequin situation going on there.
Symbolically, or I don't know, but yeah.
I wish that'd be super cool.
Here we go, Torchwood. There's an episode for you waiting to happen.
Without leaning too far out there, if Rory's still an Auton, there's certain things involve attachments.
Okay, we're getting off that question there. Back to Tron. Tron was too. You think he was too kind? Really?
No, he was kind too.
Kind too.
Oh, kind too. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And like I said, that brings.
Grammar is important.
I work all
instruction,
morning looking at computers, and when sometimes those words get jumbly when you try to stare at them long enough. Troughton.
Because whenever I think of Troughton, I think of that scene from Tomb of the Cybermen with him and Victoria.
Yes,
that is one of my favorite scenes ever in Doctor Who.
The scene is we're able to do stuff that nobody else can do. I'm paraphrasing, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Exactly.
Is that the scene? Okay. Yeah. I just wish I could show it or put in my head.
He's talking about how he can bring his family before his eyes just if he thinks about them, because she's remembering her father who was killed in a previous serial, and he's trying to console her and all that, and he's saying the pain, the memory won't always be painful, is what he's telling her. And I just love that scene. Just so between the two of them, it was just brilliantly acted. Yeah. You can actually feel the emotion there. I can play that scene over and over and probably still squirt a tear out. It's just so well done.
The bad thing is I was going to bring up 9 because really his only companion, in the series was Rose, and he was great to her. I mean, he saved her life at the end. But then I stopped and went, well, you abandoned Jack, so no. How dare you? You're like, oh no, Jack's fine. It just leaves him. And then I'm going to carry that over to 10 because you still didn't go back and help Jack. So both of you have marks on me.
Well, he kicked Mickey out of the... I'm sorry. Well, I was going to say this real quick. He kicked Mickey out of the TARDIS because Rose didn't want him in the TARDIS. So...
9 also missed his time exit for Rose by like a year and really messed up her life within hours of meeting her. Yeah. So and
then messed up Mickey's because they all thought he went off and killed her.
Yeah.
We should tell everybody right there how strong that relationship was already if people had no problem suspecting, he probably killed her.
That would be a very different story today.
That's just rude on Mickey. Poor Mickey. But
9, no. Can't give that crown to 9. It's like, oops.
Oh, but
the headlines the next day in the London paper was, "Oh, Mickey, you're not so fine." Okay.
Did you blow her mind?
All right.
But
maybe 8.
Well,
it's just a movie.
Well, also, if you listen to Big Finish, he was very, very good with his companions as well. I got to give him that. Between Charlie and Lucy Miller and all that. Yeah, and many, many others that came later. Yeah, he's very good with his companions. But you got to be a Big Finish fan to catch the rest of them.
I don't know, because now I can counter that, because I do see elements of the War Doctor showing up, and this is even before Dark Eyes and all those came out. Because remember, I don't know if you've heard the episode, like Scherzo. It was post, I can't remember that episode. It had 3 of the Doctors in it. Come on, Christian, brain is just not functioning. Scherzo took place.
I'm joking.
Are you thinking of Zagreus?
Zagreus, thank you. Yeah, Scherzo takes place because he ends up in another universe, And basically, Charlie professes her love to him, and he gives her the biggest diss on her. He just like takes the heart and goes, no, you don't. Because he doesn't know, or she doesn't know, he's trying to protect her because he's going to end up going to another universe. That's the only way out of the situation. And she can't follow. And he basically tells her, you are not coming into this new universe. And guess what? She ends up in the new universe. And that there's that scene in Scherzo, and I'm sorry for those of you who didn't listen to the audio, where she's still professing his love to him, and he goes, I killed you. How could you love me? I killed you. My love for you killed you. I'm just like, he's berating her. What was it? The Resurrection of Mars, I think, and Deus, with the Ice Warriors. And the Doctor had to choose whether to save Lucy Miller or save the passengers on the ship. And he ended up choosing Lucy Miller. And Lucy just gives him the fifth degree of like, why the hell would you pick me over that ship of people that died? They died because of me. And the explanation I thought was heartbreaking of the Eighth Doctor, which is basically in other words of saying he was I'm trying to paraphrase, I'm trying to say this right because it was so poetic the way that he mentions it to Lucy, that basically they're not my responsibility, you are. They
12 speech to Clara in series 9.
Exactly, you're my responsibility. Like 10 to Captain Jack in Utopia was like, you're my responsibility. He goes, no, that's the first one. So he had to understand that there were things that he could not control, and those things were out of his hands. And that was one of them. And she despised him. I think at some point she ended up leaving him. So yeah, if we're adding Big Finish, I know what you're saying, Melanie, with the TV movie, for that was the only thing. Oh yeah, he was great to his companions. He brought him back to life at the end of the movie.
Dogged his companion. Blasphemy.
I always hope there was still Dan says, I always hope that he was still an Auton with free will now, immune to Auton control. That way some threat of Amy could arise and Rory's hands drop to reveal the ultimate concealed weapon. Are we talking about Torchwood again?
Thank you. I was about to say that. This is not Torchwood. No.
Are we back to attachments? Oh,
yes.
Carl also brings up that 11 left young Amelia all those years.
11 left Amelia all those years ago, yeah.
But I don't know if that would be...
Should he not have?
Bad, though. I think because it was a kid, I think it's okay. He gets a pass for leaving her for all those years.
And then he bought her a house, and he bought Rory a car. That's what I thought Christian was going to say when he was like 11 was really good to them. Like, he bought him a house. That's cool. He didn't do that for anyone else.
I know, right?
Yeah, Donna Amelia, but it was like
Donna won the lottery.
It was in the alternate universe where Tennant stayed another year. Okay.
I know.
I'm sorry, I'm classic who. Remember when doctors died, they died? They didn't take an entire month or entire episode to die. They flipped out except for the Fifth Doctor, which I understand the Spectre side had to take its toll on him. But I mean, like when 4 falls off a tower and 3 gets, poisoned by the spiders, when they die, they die.
I always think about 4 falling off the tower and then this boy jumping from a plane and crashing through a glass ceiling and then landing on the ground. And I'm like,
that was another thing. Hey, yeah, I'm like,
how?
In defense of 12, though, we weren't ever supposed to get that episode. It was supposed to end at series 10, but Chibnall didn't want to do a Christmas special, and Moffat didn't want it to immediately fall off, so he had to invent that episode. So that's the only reason we got like a regeneration extended sequence like that from 12. Mm-hmm. So at least he should have been another very sudden regeneration like in the old days. But yeah, no, 10, 11, now 12. I don't want Jodie not to be allowed to have the same treatment, but at the same time, like, just let people die. Make it shocking, make it dramatic, make it exciting. Don't make it this long, drawn out thing.
I actually appreciated Twice Upon a Time, but I thought it should have been just 12 and 1. It should have been their journey together. I've always had that fanfic of the current Doctor and the first Doctor, and the first Doctor looking at the current Doctor and going like, what the hell just happened? I just wanted to go touring around the universe. I didn't want to be, the War Doctor. I didn't want to be the oncoming storm. What the hell is this? And I finally got my dream episode in Twice Upon a Time. I just wanted those two to be together so that the first Doctor had to question whether his existence was worth it. Or like, I'm like, maybe I should go back to Gallifrey and just, close this up all up or go wait. This week's special guest, Dave's Cats.
If I disappear, he's trying to hatch the mouse. So
I know now mine's up here. Like, there's another cat on the screen. I got to come investigate.
So Carl, one episode, we're just going to run the camera and just have our cats just going all over the place
right? I'll just
for 90 minutes.
You'll just see Luna.
Mine won't be a cat. It'll just be my husband hanging over me.
just
That's all he wants to do all day.
Doing?
Yes,
just
that's
have,
my husband.
Just have him climb over the shelves and stuff. Put a tail on him. Just have him go over the microphone and just like
here's some whiskers and some ears. So wear that.
Exactly.
We're not into that, but okay.
Nico just wearing a little ear headband.
Another Torchwood episode.
Oh, good Lord.
No, that's a long order
the cat
episode.
people.
I am not a cat.
Exactly. Which and just quick side note when it comes to cat people, when the movie Cats was being done and you saw the animation for the first time, all I thought was Doctor Who was able to do cat people with practical and looked good, and that was how long ago? What is this travesty?
That movie caused the apocalypse.
That's where we call it point too. I mean, I saw Cats. I watched Cats on Broadway, or one of the versions of it. Well late in a touring
it's
one
on YouTube, I think.
But yeah, just make them look like either the Broadway Cats or the Doctor Who cat nurses, people, doctor things, whatever, the medical professional cats, because they looked like cats. Okay, and rant. Sorry.
And
guys.
there was a and it seems to be there when you televise a live stage performance, it doesn't do it justice. I mean, it was like somebody had mentioned Hamilton, and they were very happy that Disney Plus had brought it to TV. The thing is that you lose all the perception, all that. And it's the same thing if you were to do something like Cirque du Soleil and put it on TV. I mean, you're going to have like 20 cameras all over the place, but if you want the full thing, you have to be inside that dome to appreciate everything that's going on. You just can't go by cameras and stuff. It doesn't do it any justice, because the energy and the flow of everything that's going on over there is just constantly going, and it's going in different directions. So
just as the we were leading into the pandemic, Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds had been rebooted. This is the musical version of the War of the Worlds. If you haven't seen / heard it, they had an arena-sized show of this. And it was minimal staging. They actually had Liam Neeson playing the narrator part, but he wasn't there physically. They basically had a hologram on a transparent screen of him.
Oh my God.
Which was Qui-Gon. Freaking awesome.
Oh.
But most of the actors were there in person doing their parts. Yeah, so you just see him standing, moving. But it's an arena show. You don't realize the scale of this because it is available. They had it on Andrew Lloyd Webber. It was putting out shows every week, and he had it up there for a weekend. And if you can find it, it's a great show, but it's great to watch it. And you have to realize the scale of this thing. And they were able to have like a full-size tripod alien because it's an arena show.
I agree that it's not the same if you're not actually at like a live thing, but as a coastal elite who's done like a ton of Broadway in my life, it's also really effing obnoxious. It is so cramped and it's so hot in the theaters and it's such a hassle to get there. And like, there's great things about it, but I think to be able to bring these performances to a more global level and allow everyone to experience them, it's really great that we're getting more of these filmed performances, and I hope it encourages more people to go and experience it live, because there are people that might like the show filmed who would never want to go see it in New York or LA or anything like that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of great performances that you'll see, or even just seeing like what's on stage, or with the Tonys, that you're never gonna know what that sounded like. You're never gonna be able to experience it because you don't live in that area, or it was just you could never get tickets, or you could never because there's a lot of barriers there. Yes, some theaters still do student rushes, or you can be on the wait list for some things, but good luck trying to get those.
Or there's a pandemic. COVID, where you can't go anywhere, whether you like it or not.
Exactly. So you can still enjoy the performance at home, even though you can't go to well, now the theaters are steadily open back, but back then, you couldn't really go out to see a live show anymore. Mm-hmm. So it's like, at least, you can sit at home and get a taste for it. So, when everything's cleared up, you can go see it live if you want later on, if you can.
Mm-hmm.
I love watching touring productions. I saw Disney's Beauty and the Beast on stage in Chicago and spent about a good third of the show doing this. Watching the lighting, watching the effects, seeing where things, watching the tech.
Man staring at 6x9s and par cans trying to figure out gobos. Oh, yes, Dave.
I'm that guy.
But one thing I do like that to marry the two, marry the two is when you can go to like one of those Fathom events where
I love
the Met Opera, or hopefully those will slowly come back again. Where I never could see Benedict Cumberbatch as Hamilton or his Frankenstein, but I got to watch that in a theater, so you still had a little bit of a theater kind of feel to it. But a reclining theater, and it's huge still. So those experiences are absolutely amazing. If you can watch, and when they said they were going to do Hamilton, I thought they were going to go the theater route. And then when they went the Disney Plus route, I'm like, I don't care. I've memorized the soundtrack. I've seen one of the touring shows. Thank God. Now I get to see actually what the original cast was able to do.
One final question. We've got a few minutes, so everybody just shout out real fast your answer there. Goofiest worst monster done. The goofiest worst done monster. I told you the computer really.
Someone just answered it for me in the comment box. The Merca.
The Merca.
Is that the bubble wrap green one?
Oh yes, Warriors of the Deep.
Warriors of the Deep. The Merca. What was it? It took two people to be the Merca or whatever.
Yeah, they've been better off with Secretariat from the Craig Ferguson show. It's like, sheesh.
See, and I would have said Absorbaloff.
The Macra Terror.
Oh, the Absorbaloff.
The Absorbaloff. Well, that was done by a kid, right?
And it shows.
Yeah. It was like they had a kid contest to make a monster, and it was like, what is
Blue
that?
Peter, I think.
Yeah, Blue Peter, and it was like...
Well, it was supposed to be like 50 feet tall, but it was still series 2 of the revival, and they didn't have the money for that. So
they didn't even have the money to have their 2 lead actors in it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I hearken back to Weird Science at the very end where Chet is sitting there.
Oh yeah.
That's the monster that I'm thinking of. You know what I'm talking about, Dr. Freedom. I'm sorry I was to you. So I'm like, God. So yes, Weird Science people. Anyway, speaking of Weird Science,
Candyman would have to rank up there too, I think.
Oh yeah, the Candyman. Oh goodness gracious.
That's just what
the whole episode was horrible.
From Happiness Patrol. Yeah, that whole bit was a bit weird, but I like weird.
I like the Candyman.
Worst and also one of my favorites. So
I like the Candyman.
Okay. Thank you.
The bubble wrap monster. I like the bubble wrap monster. The weird.
That's the Merca.
Oh yeah, the weird.
I like the weird. Dan, you got to realize nobody even knew what bubble wrap was back in the 70s.
Yeah,
and now it's and think about it. That was a bubble wrap monster that everyone keeps talking about. Now, when you think about Doctor Who, most people are now going to be thinking about the popping the bubble wrap from the 13s episode.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah.
Her glam.
The explosive.
Because it had the explosives. There was the gas or whatnot was in there.
I'm still
So now
loving
that
that.
Doctor Who bubble wrap has been monsters twice, both on purpose and both for the props department.
I'm going to say the monster, if you can really call it a monster, from Fear Her. Because I didn't know what the hell it was. It was like a squiggly line, and then it was... I kind of like the idea that somebody could draw a monster and it could come to life, but then it was a flower at the end. It was just like...
Though.
Oh, yeah. Because it was like
not to knock a child.
Not to knock a child. No, that was not her fault. It was just... And Bubble Wrap Monster from Dumb. Yeah.
I could give a snarky answer that I think everyone will agree with.
What's that?
Chris Chibnall.
Okay. Subscribe, like, share, comment, go in there, go nuts on our YouTube channel, The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS YouTube channel, youtube.com, The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you can be up to speed on everything. We're going to be doing a special episode of the Who Knew News with Louis Lacal from Villicon with Jessica and the team here. We're going to talk more about Who Knew News, and there's only certain things you will get when you go to the YouTube channel, and that's one of them, the Who Knew News, Bits of the TARDIS, and we're going to be adding on some more content as well. So, and it's free. Just go over there and sign up there. Thank you, Carl. Yeah, good show. Everybody, please stay safe. Don't forget Villicon this Saturday, for those of you in the Central Florida area, only $5 over at the Wyndham on International Drive. Want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Please stay safe, because we want to see you out there very shortly, very soon, when we start moving around the conventions and everything. Anybody have any last words before we end the show?
Thank you, Graham Krause, for correcting me. The Maritimes didn't have PBS.
Yep. And if you're watching this not live and any other time on YouTube, please leave a comment below on if there's any other type of show topic you would like us to cover.
Everybody have a great night. Thank you, Dave, Brian, Kevo, and Melanie. And as always, please stay safe, because we want you to become part of the legend.